So, in 1914, Thomas Edison, at age 67, lost his factory, which was worth a few $1 million, on fire. It had very little insurance. What happened? Already we talked about Thomas Alva Edison, that 4-year-old partially deaf kid who was sent back home by the teacher. That Thomas Edison, what happened in 1914, that is, it is incidentally the beginning of the World War I. When he was 67 years old, he lost a factory worth a few $1 million in a fire accident. A fire accident took place in his factory, which was worth millions of dollars, and everything was burnt. It had very little insurance. Generally, people insure big companies or factories or equipment in their companies or factories, but this particular factory of Thomas Edison had very little insurance, almost no insurance at all. No longer a young man, Edison watched his lifetime effort go up in smoke and said, "There is greater value in disaster, great value in disaster. All our mistakes are burnt up. Thank God we can start anew." At 67 years of age, he was no longer a young man, Thomas Edison. He lost the factory in a fire accident. It was worth a few $1 million, no insurance almost. And just Edison watched that his lifetime effort, throughout his life he built up that factory, but he saw it go up in flames. In smoke, and then said like this, "There is a great value in disaster." My dear friends, when there is a disaster takes place, there is a great value in it. All our mistakes are burnt up. Thank God we can start anew. What did he say? You see, all our mistakes are burnt up. Means all our mistakes are destroyed. That means we can start thinking fresh. We can start afresh. Anew means afresh. See the attitude of that man. If at all any human being today has lost a factory worth millions of dollars, he will not survive, he will die of a heart attack. But Thomas Edison simply said all his mistakes are burnt up, so he can start thinking fresh now. See the attitude of that man. In spite of the disaster, 3 weeks later, he invented the phonograph. What an attitude. In spite of this disaster, exactly 3 weeks after this, later, he invented phonograph. You know, what is a phonograph? You can see. Phonograph is nothing but a record player. Earlier in the olden days, or at least in the olden movies, you might have seen a big disc which is placed on a thin pin, and then a small pin is placed there, and when it starts rotating like this, you used to get music out of it. We used to learn songs like that only when we were young, when we were small children. So that phonograph later on converted to a floppy disk. Floppy. From floppy to CVD, DVD player, DVDs. From there to now it is as small as a pen drive. But actually this is the origin. Phonograph, that is very difficult to carry because it used to be a huge disc like this. We cannot carry, whereas a small, you can on your cell phone now, you can have a pen drive or you can have a music app from where you can hear hundreds of thousands of songs. But he invented this phonograph when 3 weeks later, 3 weeks after the disaster in his factory. So what an attitude. This is called attitude. This is called a positive attitude. Below are more examples of the failures of successful people. Some more examples of the failures of successful people are given here. Thomas Edison failed approximately 10,000 times while he was working on the light bulb. We told you already, Thomas Alva Edison was the inventor of the electric bulb. You know how many times he failed while he was trying to invent the electric bulb? 10,000 times he failed. Henry Ford was broke at the age of 40. What do you mean by broke? Became bankrupt. Means he became penniless. He did not even have a penny with him when he was 40 years of old. This Henry Ford, he lost everything because we already learned that he failed to put a reverse gear in the first car he had made, and all the investment he had made was wasted. He became financially zero when he was 40 years old. But now also his car company is one of the largest car companies in the world. Lee Iacocca was fired by Henry Ford too at the age of 54. Who is Lee Iacocca? He was the designer, you can see that there. An American businessman known for engineering the Ford Mustang and Ford Pinto cars. He is an American businessman engineering the two topmost models of Ford car companies, Ford Mustang and Ford Pinto. He was the former chairman of the Chrysler Corporation, one of the richest corporations in the world. He was chairman once. He was one of the most famous business people in the world. He is the author of several books, including Iacocca. He wrote several books, including a book with the title of his own name, Iacocca. But he was fired. Fired means was dismissed from service. He was dismissed from the job. This man, Lee Iacocca, was dismissed by Henry Ford at the age of 54. Young Beethoven was told that he had no talent for music, but he gave some of the best music to the world. Some of the best music he gave to the world, but young Beethoven, when he was told that he had no talent for music. A German composer and pianist. Beethoven was a German musician and a composer. But he was told that he had no talent for music, but incidentally he gave some of the best music to the world. So what do you understand from all these examples? Setbacks are inevitable in life. Setbacks means failures. Failures are inevitable, unavoidable. They are inevitable in life. A setback can act as a driving force, means inspiration. A failure can act as a driving force and also teaches humility. Humility means humbleness. A setback or failure can act as a driving force or inspirational force and teach us to be not proud. It teaches us to be humble always. In grief, means in sorrow only, you will find courage and faith to overcome the setback. When you are grieving, when you are suffering from any sorrowful incident or event, that only will find you the courage and faith to overcome the setback. When you are suffering, only you will find that courage and faith to overcome or defeat that setback, that failure. We need to learn to become victors, not victims. So, everybody has to learn to become victor, means a person who scores a victory, not a victim. A person who suffers from a failure is called a victim. Fear and doubt short circuit the mind. There are two things which can short circuit your mind. What's the meaning of short circuiting the mind? What do you understand first by short circuit that happens there in the due to electric failures or electricity? It is related to a topic known as electricity in physics. What is a short circuit according to the science? When too many wires are attached When there is so too much power supplied into that, the wires melt there, and that results in the failure or burning up of all the electric gadgets there in that particular place or room. That is called a short circuit. When your mind gets short circuited, when there is fear and doubt in your mind. When there are fear and doubt, they short circuit your mind. You should not fear about anything, and you should not doubt your abilities. Ask yourself after every setback, after every failure, ask yourself a question. What is that question that we should ask? What did I learn from this experience? Only then you will be able to turn a stumbling block into a stepping stone. Only when you ask this question every time you fail, what did I learn from this experience? Then you will be able to turn a stumbling block. What do you mean by stumbling block? Something that hinders your progress, something that stops your progress further. That is what is called a stumbling block. When you start thinking or asking yourself a question, what did I learn from this experience? Then every stumbling block can be turned into a success, stepping stone to success. So that means you should always try to learn from your mistakes. Simply don't put the mistakes beneath and commit the same mistakes again. That's not correct. Once you start learning from the mistakes, every stumbling block that you come across, you can convert that into a stepping stone to success. The motivation to succeed comes from the burning desire to achieve a purpose. How do you get the motivation to succeed? Motivation means inspiration. That comes from the burning desire to succeed, to achieve a purpose. Means what? There must be a burning desire to achieve a purpose. When you are living a life, when you want to achieve a goal, there must be a burning desire in your inside, to achieve that goal at any cost, achieve that purpose. Napoleon Hill wrote. Who is Napoleon Hill? A great author and philosopher, American author in the area of the New Thought movement, who was one of the earliest producers of the modern genre of personal success literature. He is widely considered to be one of the great writers on success. He wrote many books on success, this Napoleon Hill. What did he say? This particular sentence should give us inspiration to reach our goal. See, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. What a great sentence. Do you understand this sentence, children? Whatever the mind of man can conceive, means develop, any idea that occurs in the mind of human being, and if that human being believes that particular thing, that particular thought, that human mind can achieve it also. What is still not clear? Okay, we will explain. The burning desire of the man, the moment he conceived the idea, he means a human being. The moment a man conceived the idea that he wanted to fly like a bird, he invented the aeroplane. This is what is called, whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. Once the thought occurs in the human mind and the human mind starts believing it, that mind can automatically achieve it. Otherwise, that thought would not come into our mind at all. A young man asked Socrates the secret to success. Socrates was a great philosopher belonging to this period, 2500 BC, before Christ. He belonged to the country of Greece. A young man one day came to Socrates and asked him the secret to success. Socrates told the young man to meet him near the river the next morning. Socrates told, okay, young man, you come and meet me tomorrow at the river. They met. The young man came there next morning. Socrates was waiting for him there at the river. Socrates asked the young man to walk with him towards the river. And then he asked the young man to walk with him towards the river. So both of them walked into the river. When the water got up to their neck, finally they reached the river, the place in the river where the water got up to their neck here. When they reached that place, Socrates took the young man by surprise. Means when you take somebody by surprise, you create and you cause a shock to him. Socrates took the young man by surprise and ducked him into the water. Ducked him means what? He put him, his head completely there into the water and kept him like that for some time there in the water. The boy struggled to get out, but Socrates was strong and kept him there until the boy started turning blue. That young man started struggling to come out of the water. But Socrates was so strong that he kept him there until the boy started turning blue. When do you turn blue? In the water, inside the water there is no oxygen. Once you do not find oxygen, automatically you drown in the water, you die and your body becomes blue. So the boy started turning blue. Socrates pulled his head out of the water, and the first thing the young man did was to gasp and take a deep breath of air. Once his head was pulled out of water, what was the first thing that the young man did, children? The first thing the young man did was to gasp like this, and he took a deep breath of air. That's what he did first. Then Socrates asked him a question. What did you want the most when you were there, my dear young man? When you were under water, what did you want the most? The boy replied, air. Why? Because there is no air inside water. And air is required for us to survive. Socrates said, that is the secret to success. What is that? That is the secret to success. What secret is there? Clearly, listen to me very carefully. When you want success as badly as you wanted the air, then you will get it. There is no other secret. See, my dear young man, how you struggled to get air when you were under water. When you want success as badly as you wanted the air when you were under water, then you will get it. There is no other secret to success. Just how much you struggled for air when you were under water, that much struggle you have to take to succeed in your life. Sometimes you may drown completely, sometimes you may not be able to come out of water, you may drown and die. But we should not give up the efforts. That is the secret to success. There is no other secret. A burning desire is the starting point of all accomplishments. So what do we understand from this? A burning desire, a wish, a strong wish, which always burns inside us. That is the starting point of all the accomplishments or achievements of our life. Without that desire to achieve success, you can never succeed in your life. Just like a small fire cannot give much heat, a weak desire cannot produce great results. So, your small fire is there. Can it give much heat? Can it give more heat? A small flame cannot give much heat. In the same way, a weak desire cannot produce great results. So, if you want great results in your life, your desire also must be great, strong. So, the writer concludes this particular essay with a poem. Let us see what is it called. You can see that there. We will, of course. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win but think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you will lose, you are lost. For out in the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You have got to think high to rise. You have got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger and faster man. But sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. See, a wonderful way to end the essay. If you think, the title of this Small poem. What is it called? We will be discussing later. If you think you are beaten, beaten means defeated. Suppose you think you are defeated already. Don't think about, ever think about defeat. If you think you are beaten, you are already beaten. Means defeated. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you think that you cannot dare to do a particular thing, you can never dare to do. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. You like to win, but you think you can't win. That means even the simplest of simple things that can be achieved also, you will be lost. You will be losing. You cannot achieve it. Even the simplest thing also you cannot achieve when you like to win, but you think you can't win. If you think you will lose, you are lost already. The moment you think that you will be losing, you are lost. There is no need to fight again, struggle again. For means because out in the world, we find success begins with a fellow's will. How does success begin? With a fellow's will, means willpower. His desire to succeed. Success begins with that particular person's willpower. It's all in the state of mind. Remember all these ideas, it is there in the state of mind, not anywhere else. This is not available in the books. Success is not something that you can go and buy in a market, at a shop. So, if you think you are outclassed, that means you think you are outclassed means if you think you are overcome, you are already overcome, defeated. You have got to think high to rise. Your thoughts must be at a higher level to rise in your life, to develop or to achieve anything that you life, your thinking must change. You have got to think high. You have got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. First you should be sure about yourself before you ever win a prize. You can never win a prize. That means if you do not believe in yourself, you can never win what you want. So, first you have got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger and faster man. Don't think that life's battles always go in favor of people who are stronger and faster. But to whom they go, life's battles? They go to the man who wins, but sooner or later, what do you find is there in the history? Sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. Sooner or later, the man who wins. Means if not now, later on, the man who wins, who is that man who wins there? The man who thinks he can win only wins. Not a person who thinks he can never win, he can never win. Okay, with that we come to the end of the B reading. We will be discussing the exercises in the next class. Thank you.